I'm Sabrina, and I'm going to be speaking about stem cell research. So I'm going to list a few celebrities, and anyone say if they don't know who they are. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Reeve, and Stephen Hawking. Everyone know who they are? Okay. So everyone knows the stories of these men. They led a healthy, normal life until one day they either had a life-changing accident or their genetics took a turn for the worse. One thing that could change people with similar cases of these men could be the insertion of stem cells into damaged areas of one's body. And just in case anyone's not too clear on what stem cells are and how they work, I'm just going to give you a quick run-through of them. Stem cells have potential to develop into many different cell types in the body during early life and growth. In many tissues, they serve as a type of internal repair system, dividing without limit to replenish other cells as long as the host therein is still alive. When the stem cell divides, each new cell has the potential to either stay as a stem cell or become a new type of cell with a specialized function. So it can copy other cells, or it can copy a dead cell and revive it. Such cells could be muscle cells, red blood cells, or brain cells. So with knowing all the good stem cells could do, why wouldn't people want it to be one of the top things researched? Why wouldn't we want to try stem cells out on patients who can potentially help? These reasons can't happen due to the low budget and restrictions that stem cell research has. So the issue I bring to you today is that by having a change in federal funding for stem cell research, any research for it will further advance it and will only advance it for the good. So the main reason why stem cell research has little federal funding is due to it being somewhat controversial. And the main controversy is that stem cells, the way they're obtained is by being taken from embryos. So most people see that as destroying a life in order to further do research on something that's not a guarantee to work. And it's because of this reason why stem cell research is limited to what it can and cannot do, and it's also limited to the government funding. So it gets most of its research money from private foundations. Such foundations are the Durand Corporation, the Star Foundation, the former governor of Illinois, Rod B. I can't pronounce the last name, it's like really long and weird. But most people who do donate to stem cell research, they ask to remain anonymous, because anything affiliating you back to that, and just like, let's say you're a scientist and you donate, and the university finds out, they could stop your research and kick you out, and you have no lab to further out your experiment. So current federal funding is very limited. Here's an example of what stem cell research has obtained. In 2004, the government gave it $3 billion to be used over a 10-year period. And it was given such a little amount due to people not really agreeing fully with it. And this might change because Obama issued an executive order on March 9, 2009. It's the Executive Order 13505. And its cause is to remove barriers to responsible scientific research involving human stem cells. So if this passes, then stem cells can do more things, and we could potentially find out if it can cure certain diseases. So like I said, it obtained $3 billion. I mean, it's a large sum of money, but other organizations have gotten a larger sum of money. One that stands out is NASA, the space, everyone knows that space program? Okay. So for 2009, Congress gave NASA a $20.21 billion budget, which includes $1 billion in additional funding to accelerate the development of a new type of space vehicle. And its future funding is to receive $18.7 billion for the 2010 fiscal year under the budget proposal released by the White House. So NASA stands to obtain about 6 times more federal funding than stem cell research. Now, both are good causes. We both need to study like space and Earth to, keep us living and keep everything, our ecosystems, at a decent level and make sure that things don't die off and we don't die off. But which is more urgent to discover? Proving that Pluto is no longer a planet, or discovering a cure for cardiovascular diseases, leukemia, and even help a paraplegic patient to walk again? As we've seen in space research, the higher amount of money available to you, the more you can accomplish. With this statement being proven, the more money stem cell research has, the more diseases and muscle damage repair it can discover.
So Rob Blagojevich?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who just got thrown out as being governor and is being prosecuted. Yeah, that guy. Okay. You get to the proposition 2 minutes into the speech, and so that's a long time to wait until we get to what your claim is. And the phrasing on it is not as clear and specific as it should be, so I think you need to work on that a little bit more up front. The contents are not really previewed for the audience, and that's a little bit of a problem. I thought you did an okay job setting up some background information on the controversy, but there's some things that I think were better developed than others. So the explanation about maybe some of the moral issues that people have, or some of the limitations on funding, those were okay. The information about the private funding, I think, is largely skimpy and needs to be developed a little bit more. You mentioned the amount of money that is available from the feds over the next 10 years. Do we have people who are applying for grants, for instance, for doing research that are not getting those grants? There's got to be some information on that. And then, of course, the other thing is that the United States is not the only place in the world that has money going into stem cell research, and so why is it that our contribution is uniquely important? I think that that needs to be developed a little bit more. The organization, I think, is problematic. You just kind of get into it and it becomes a narrative instead of a structured series of inferences that will allow us to reach the same conclusion that you're getting to. The evidence, we've got some hypotheticals that you're pointing to, but there's not really much statistical information. I didn't notice any expert testimony. We did give a good amount of factual data, but the sources on those are not always consistent. At the beginning especially, I thought you got better as you went along. You tend to look down quite a bit, but you do project okay, and you are talking to us, which I think is better than just doing all of that reading that sometimes people fall into the habit of doing. All right, thank you.